What's up, you wonderful people? I'm hanging out in my car because that's where I live now. Just kidding. I'm traveling in a couple of days. I'm going to be flying to Thailand, which is going to be exciting. But in today's video, I want to tell you why I'm a React fanboy and why you should learn React. Back in the day when I started my learning journey, I was trying to learn everything under the sun. C++, C, PHP, all those different things. And my friend just said to me, hey, if you want to get a job, what you need to do is just learn React. And that's what I did, and I was able to get hired. Now, some of you in the comments for sure are going to say you can't just learn React now and get hired, which is kind of true. And that's a different video that I'm going to make in a little bit. But if you're looking to pick a framework that you're learning, I want to give you my reasons why you should learn React. Number one, React is used by so many companies that every job I had from day one, they all use React to build applications. My first job was a company that produced medical HR program, basically allows HR people to manage employees. It also allowed doctors to manage clients, and it was just a huge application. The back end was built with ASP.NET with C#, but the front end was React. And the reason why I was in React, number one, it was popular at the time and it's still popular. But number two, it was much easier to find developers in React for that company because everybody pretty much uses it. So for me, instead of trying to learn some framework that's kind of cool, but is on the verges of being like super niche, or you gotta like drink a certain type of coffee and have a certain mustache in order to do it, that kind of looked weird. You got to be too like I'm not hip enough for that framework. And maybe like you could find a job, but for me, I just want like, what is everybody doing? That's what I want to do. So I did React. And every job that I had after that, so I worked for that HR hospital company called Versatility. Then I worked for a financial company called Red Hawk Research, which had an application which also their backend was done with Python, but their front end was a React application. Again, for the same reasons, it makes it easier for you to build UI. There's a lot of support, a lot of documentation, and very easy to find developers that are able to build things with React. Like a lot of these companies, when they think of like, what should we use, they're going to think of like, what is the best technology for our team that's going to allow us, A, to have enough developers that could build our project, and B, makes it easier for us to hire new developers if we need to. So I have a friend who is an architect, and one of the things he was pushing on his company with the type of developers he had is, hey, we need to build our projects with React because most of you all know what React is, and it'll be easier to train you with any help that you need or to hire more React developers as need be. Instead of picking something like Vue.js, where yes, Vue.js is awesome. I heard it all before, but the truth is, and I'm sure there's a lot of Vue.js programmers that, could get hired. But for my friend from the architect role, he's like, I don't even want it to be a question. I want my team to do React because it's easy to hire for. There's a lot of resources, and most of the people on the team know React. But to me, outside of having React being popular, a lot of resources, easy to learn, it has amazing options of frameworks. You have Next.js, amazing. You have Remix, you have TanStack, and you could even use Astro with React frameworks. And what's even cooler, something that I'm discovering now, you could build native apps with React Native. React Native came a long way. So recently I was working on a lot of different React projects, and in the back of my mind, I had this application that I want to build. I'm not going to tell you what it is because I don't want you to steal my idea, but when I build it, I'll show it to you. But I used to be involved in a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I know that business really well, and so I wanted to build an application that kind of serves that market, and I had a good idea, but I realized building as a web app, no one's going to care. It needs to be an iPhone or an Android app because that's where and how they're going to use it. And in order for them to have that good experience, I want to be able to build that app mobile first. And at first I was like, I could build it native for, iOS, and then maybe I could build it for Android. That's two different languages to learn. And then someone's like, well, you could use Flutter, which allows you to build things for both platforms. I think it's Flutter, I don't remember. But I was like, I don't want to learn anything new. I already know React. And then I started playing with React Native. I was like, oh my goodness, I'm practically done. Well, I'm not practically done with the app, but the fact that I have one technology that allows me to be very flexible from building web pages. There's a numbers of frameworks that I could use. And now I could build React Native applications for iOS, Android, and the web if I had to. And to me, it's pretty awesome. So a lot of times people like, why do you just do React all the time? Because that's the type of jobs I had, and that's what and how I made money. And by knowing React, jumping to Next.js, Remix, TanStack, and all those similar frameworks that are based on React is much easier. And so for me, I don't have to try to learn too many new things. I could just focus on the technologies that I know. And instead of learning a different framework outside of React, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. Like I explored different frameworks. I tried Angular for whatever the reason. I don't know why. It was okay. But, I just stick to React. And that way I could focus on other more important things, like focusing on the back end, learning and understanding Node.js better, spending more time on TypeScript. I'm sticking to one lane. And this allows me to just continue and get better and dive deeper in the things that I'm doing. So you could tell me in the comments if you hate React, it's perfectly fine. You could tell me the amazing framework that you're using, like Laravel and PHP is amazing. To be honest, all frameworks are awesome if you're able to get a job and get paid with it. And for me, right from the beginning of my career, I was like, I'm not taking any chances. I'm being that kid that's copying others and sticking to the most popular things. And React is not going anywhere. Next.js is huge. All these other frameworks like TanStack is huge. They're all picking up steam, or just build things with React and Vite. So for me, that's why I love React. One, there's a lot of community and support. Two, there's bajillion tutorials. Three, most companies will have easier time hiring developers. Four, it's just super awesome because you could build React Native apps. Five, I don't want to waste my time learning something that I don't have to. And React allows me to build majority of the apps that I want. And what I've been recently doing is trying to think of starting an agency, thinking about freelancing. And basically, I'm trying to figure out what is the most best stack that I can use to build applications for my clients. And I've talked to a lot of different agencies, and you know what they're doing? They're all using Next.js. And sure, sometimes like Next.js is not perfect with React. Sometimes you have this issue, sometimes you have that, but it's still better than the alternatives. They have a really good stack. They have a really good plan. They have a certain way of doing things, which allows them to move from project to project very easily. And so I think there's a lot to be said by not trying to be the best at everything, but try to niche down and pick what thing that you're working on. And thinking on my agency, based on the technology I know, mostly Next.js with React. Astro, by the way, is amazing, but let's not keep Astro in this conversation for now. And React Native, I have a whole gamut of services I could do. I could build your website. I could build your complementary React Native app. I could probably borrow some of the component logic. You style your React Native apps a little bit different, but you could modify them based on your previous web components without like thinking too much about it. So to me, I find it relieving and awesome. So let me know in the comments if you think like I smoked way too much of my own talking to be like, oh, React is the best. But with all honesty, like that's what I decided to do. And if someone with the same level of commitment told you that Laravel and PHP is the best, or C# and ASP.NET is the best, or Ruby with Ruby on Rails, or Python with Django, they'll all be right, because what they decided, they figured out their one stack that allows them to build things and get them out to their clients. So if you pick any framework that allows you to build things and get paid for it, just stick with it. Don't jump around. For me, that's React. I'm going to live and die by the React sword. And I'm working on a bunch of different applications, all React. And what I love about React is that someone's like, you work at Next.js project? Yeah, I'll just copy some of my old components in React that I made. Oh, you're building a React application with Vite? Oh, I'll just use the same React code. Oh, you're freaking using TanStack? Oh, I'll just use the same examples. And so I have this library of different React components that I built in the past that I could reuse in bajillion places. But now I'm getting to a point where I'm just talking way too much. But if you made it this far, Jesus Christ, what are you doing watching me babble on about React for 10 minutes straight? But I thank you. I wish you all the best from the bottom of my heart, because I appreciate every one of my viewers that watch this channel. And if you don't know who I am, I'm some random dude who started learning to code at the age of 35, struggled to get hired until 39, and don't let this beautiful face deceive you. I'm 45 years old, so I've been around. Another video I'm going to make in a couple of days probably is it still worth learning to code? The short answer is yes. I'll give you my reasons why. And just to kind of give you a very little tip here, if you have technical literacy and you know how to speak the tech language, meaning you know how to code, you understand how coding works, you don't just have to be a software engineer. There's so many of these adjacent positions that you're definitely going to find something to do in the tech industry, even with the AI stuff going on. But anyway, in another video, I will talk about that. I will talk about my journey. I will basically going to say, if you really love to code and that's something you enjoy, don't watch some fool on YouTube telling you that AI is going to take your jobs. Do it because you love it. Life is short. And if you don't do the things that you like, your life is just going to suck. But with that being said, you all have a good one. I'm going to go for a walk.